Thank you.
Next guest is no stranger to controversy.
If you get sick in America, this is what the Republicans want you to do. If you get sick, America, the Republican health care plan is this: die quickly. That's right. The Republicans want you to die quickly if you get sick.
And he didn't stop at health care reform. Democratic Congressman Alan Grayson made his name saying some pretty colorful things, most recently calling his Florida opponent Taliban, quote, Taliban Dan. Congressman Grayson joins me now. Welcome, sir. Appreciate your time. All right, so here's the big question, $64,000 question. I told my Facebook friends and Twitter friends and all that you were coming on, and they all wanted to know, do you think you were too dramatic? Was this all about winning, or your next iteration is going to be on TV? Is it going to be writing for HuffPo, as Mr. O'Reilly might say?
Well, I don't want your job. I would never stoop that low.
Wow, really? Oh, very good. Okay, so what did you do wrong, sir? Did you not move to the center enough, or did you stay too far left?
Listen, I won by 4 points in 2008. If you look at all the Democrats that won by 10 points or less, there were 28 of us. 26 of us lost. And in addition to that, another 40 Democrats lost when they won by 10 points or more in 2008. There was nothing that I could have done that would have made any difference to this result. It was a wave election.
How about the antics on the floor?
Let me finish.
How about the antics on the floor where you hold up a sign that says "Die quickly"? I mean, what were you thinking? That's disrespectful.
Let me finish, okay?
Go ahead.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. I'm the first Democrat to represent my district in 34 years. And I represent a district that's gerrymandered for the benefit of the Republicans. So there was literally nothing that I could do that would make any difference in this election result. What I do feel good about is the fact that we have health care for all Americans right now. And I contributed to that in a way that you find disrespectful, but in fact will save the lives of tens of thousands of Americans every single year. If you take two Americans who are absolutely identical, same weight, same race, same gender, even same smoking habits, and one of them has health insurance, the other one doesn't.
Congressman, we're not going to do the health care debate here. We already know where America stands.
You brought it up.
57% says they don't want it. You brought it up. I'm asking what you did wrong. I said, were you overly dramatic on the House floor? How about this? Were you wrong in comparing your Republican competitor to the Taliban Dan? What are you thinking?
Well, I'm going to finish what I was saying.
Please do,
If
sir,
you don't have health insurance in this country, then you're 25% more likely to die each year. And we've saved all those lives. There's 100,000 people in my district who will get health care because of health care reform. And I feel proud that those people will be saved. Now, with regard to the election, Dan Rather, someone who you probably don't like, told me last year that if you do the job well, you feel proud whether you win or lose. And that's how I feel.
And do you think some of the antics, you die quickly, the Taliban Dan, that is what you would call doing the job well? I'm trying to be respectful to you, sir, because I've been accused of being disrespectful in the past. But frankly, you're not really answering my question.
I can understand why people would accuse you of that. What I can't understand is why people accuse me of what you just accused me of, when in fact the Republicans had no health care plan, have no health care plan, and aren't going to have a health care plan.
Let me ask you
what
this.
is the Republican plan to save those people who die from the lack of health care?
Now that you're not a congressman anymore, what are you going to do? Are you going to go to work for the health industry? Because it sounds like you're a mouthpiece for the health industry.
I'm a mouthpiece for the health industry.
That's what I said.
I don't know where you're coming from with that, but no, I don't plan to go to work for the health industry. Do you have any serious questions you want to ask me about the economy?
I don't think I do, sir.
Or
honestly,
anything else today?
It's almost like I'm talking to a medicated person right now. I'm not really sure where we're going right now. We're going to say thank you to Congressman Grayson.
But don't be disrespectful. Whatever you do, don't be disrespectful to your congressman.
All-star panel, Democratic strategist Bernard Whitman, Guardian Angels founder Curtis Sliwa, and the host of National Review's Off the Page, Will Kane. Curtis, I'm going to go to you first, my friend. Try to ask a guy a question. Look, I don't even know what the blog's going to say about this tomorrow. It doesn't really matter. The guy wouldn't answer my question. I wanted to know if he thought, I was really getting at, was he too far left? Was he too dramatic? Was he too looking for that OMG moment and it backfired on him?
Well, Congressman Grayson was a sore winner when he was in office, and it's proven he's a sore loser. This guy just doesn't get it, the way he was pushing the issues. His constituents rejected him. They pimp-slapped him down, and he's trying to do a little bit of mathematical technology. Well, you know, everyone else was 10%, I was only 4%. Why can't people just acknowledge those who have lost? The reason they lost was Barack Obama health care. No other reason. And because they defended it, they dotted the I's, they crossed the T's, and they fell on the sword. He should impale himself on the Barack Obama health care bill.
Curtis, come on. The reason why the guy lost is he won in a marginal district. It's a Republican conservative district. Has nothing to do with health care. Has everything to do with the economy. The failure in the Democrats in 2010 was a failure of communication. We did not properly set expectations. I fault the president for not setting expectations, measuring the results, communicating his successes.
You had the great communicator, Barack Obama, the machine.
No, Barack Obama was a great campaigner-in-chief. He was not a great communicator.
That's the key fault. You suggested more than one answer. It wasn't just about communications, because you also said it was also about the economy. You could also say it's about low voter turnout among young people.
Communicating about
the point
what
is,
we were doing.
You guys have shoved out a ton of reasons about why you lost this election, but the one you're unable or unwilling to consider is that it was about your ideas.
Well, let me throw this out here to the panel. Hold on, Bernard. Let me throw it out here. I asked Congressman Grayson this, and he didn't want to get to it. Some of the policies that the left was pushing. Health care, Curtis, that's all he wanted to talk about. Health care probably lost a good portion of the 60 whatever seats they lost, and some of the Senate seats.
It's fundamentally not true. 3.5 times as many voters that went to the polls voted on the economy, not on health care. When you ask the voters who actually voted in this election where they stand on health care, should it be repealed or improved or stay the same, voters are evenly split. Health care did not spell the death knell for the Democrats in this election. What spelled the death knell for the Democrats in the election was a failure to properly frame expectations on the economy.
What does that mean? What is that? I don't understand. What it means properly framed?
It means the administration should have never gone before Congress and said, pass the stimulus, unemployment will never go above 8%. They should have told the truth. They said, if we don't get the stimulus in, unemployment will shoot above 12%. We did not properly manage the expectations game, and therefore
go ahead, Will. I don't know how you properly manage 14.6 million people out of work and you know, home prices through the floor and food prices going up. There's no managing that. That's reality.
Congressman Grayson said there was nothing he could have done to win that election, that it was written in the cards the minute he put his name on the ballot. Let me ask you this. If he had opposed the health care bill, do you think there's a chance he would have been elected?
No.
How about if he opposed stimulus?
No.
How about if he had ran as a Republican and had conservative values?
Well, now you're saying, okay, if he had changed, if he was from a different party.
You're right. I'm suggesting, what if he had different ideas?
That district is a fundamentally Republican district. I think it would have been incredibly hard for even a conservative Democrat to have held that seat.
How do you win it in 08? How do you win it in 08?
Election.
How in the world did you win it in 08?
It was called a tidal wave that was headed by the president.
Kind of like the tidal wave that was.
He got drowned by the red tsunami this time, right? Tidal wave swept him in, tsunami swept him out.
And it was all because of the independents. And the biggest problem in this election is the political center is now dead. Most Americans are actually centrists, they're moderates, they're independents. What's happened? You've got a Congress that's more liberal than the Democrats are more liberal, and the Republicans are more conservative.
Let's talk a little bit about what Congressman Chaffetz said. He said we need to start cutting spending. He was more than willing, Curtis, to hold off on any sort of pork and earmarks. Good idea.
All right, that's going to take time. But you know the real problem is Bernanke, while all this is going on, stacking paper. That's why all these prices are going up. We have enough corn. We have enough oil. We certainly have enough gold. The only reason it's going up and being inflated is we're devaluing the dollar because Bernanke is being given a license to print money and spread it out there at unprecedented levels. And you know, stacking paper is what's going to take us on a one-way trip to Palookaville.
But here's the issue. $3.8 trillion 2011 budget. That is insane, especially when we're taking in about $2.5 trillion in taxes.
But the last time I checked, interest on the federal debt was near record lows. I'm not suggesting I want to go out and spend, spend.
Well,
but interest on that debt is near
Don't say that.
lows.
It's incorrect. Interest, total interest is at record highs. The rate may be at record lows. The total number of interest dollars we're paying to support the federal debt is at record highs.
You know what we need to do? We need to do three things to get this economy moving again. We need responsible tax policy, which is putting money back into the pockets of 97% of Americans so they can go out and spend it. Two, we need to stimulate the private sector through aid to small business. And three, we need to put those construction workers, 1.5 million construction workers sitting idle, we need to put them back to work.
You know, women,
put money into the economy.
When you were talking about the interest rates, it's like the guy was paying his VIG to organized crime saying, hey, not too bad, the VIG. It's 18% instead of 36%. You're not going to bend my leg and stuff it in my pocket. Are you out of your mind? You actually saw that as being a positive thing.
The fact that the interest rate on the debt is low, yes, I do.
No, the rate is low, Bernard, but the actual number is approaching $500 billion. The interest alone on that debt
Yeah. How do we get this economy back on track? Legislatively, you only do two things. You set the rules of the game, and you get the hell out of the way. You stop spending. You let the consumer and the investor know what it takes to make money.
Is this traffic jam or log jam in Washington now, with the House being Republican and the Senate being Democrat and the White House being Democrat? Is that enough to do that? It's
a double-edged sword, Eric. On the spending side, it's good because they can't get any more spending bills shoved through Congress. On the tax side, they're going to have to set the rules of that game fairly quickly.
We're going to have to leave it there.